DiffTheEnder, and I'm here with Elementz, the support player for Team Crs. So thanks for taking the time to be here with me, Elementz.
No problem. Thank you for doing the interview.
Okay, so let's start off with your first beginnings. So you're one of the most experienced League of Legends players around. You've been around since the beginning of the pro scene, and I think you were in the first ever League of Legends tournament with All or Nothing. The team was Reginald, I believe.
Yep.
So through all these years of play, you've played support mostly. And in common solo queue play and among average players, support is what most people say is one of the least popular roles, one of the hardest to carry with. So what makes support enjoyable for you?
Well, support, I think Season 2 wasn't that fun still because a lot of the times junglers would come through with oracles and I mean, despite not having, not enough gold to sustain yourself, let alone buy a bunch of wards. I mean, if you're being camped by jungler who's just going to oracle clear over and over and over again, it was a rather annoying role to play, at least competitively. And sometimes if you're high enough elo in solo queue, it was really annoying to play as well. So I think the change to oracles and the fact that junglers aren't so dependent on gank heavy and they can kind of focus on their jungle a little bit more because of Season 3, those two changes have actually made support way more enjoyable. Not even like including the amount of support changes they gave to the support role now. So yeah, I would say before support was kind of a boring role and not as sought after. But in Season 3, I deem it up there as one of the hardest roles in competitive play due to just being able to survive and getting your laning synergy with your AD. I mean, it's like a team within a team, and yeah, I mean, that's just how I kind of feel about support right now. I think it's a really well-rounded role.
All right, okay, that sounds good. So you've been known to play a lot of less played support champions. You bring out these new champions every once in a while in tournaments. So occasionally you play Blitzcrank, which wasn't picked too often, and then recently you brought out Fiddlestick support as well. So how do you decide what makes a good support champion, and do you think sometimes these niche champions work better because not many people know how to play against it?
Yeah, well, when you decide that you're trying to bring into a new support champion in competitive play, I mean, obviously it has to go through its like trials and tribulations in terms of like going through solo queue and then putting it into scrims and then actually having the balls to bust it out in competitive play. It's even different, more different because I mean, it is a long process to bring out new support champions. I mean, I have a couple right now that I'm playing and that I want to bring out, but it's like the team's not ready for them, the team doesn't want to do them, and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, bringing something into a meta is always going to be something difficult to do, and it's not impossible, but it can be done. And what was the last part of the question?
Do you think these niche champions work better because people don't know how to play against them as well?
Yeah, and for instance, like these niche champions that come out, yeah, sometimes they're the absolute counter to X lane, and they do Y versus another lane, and that's where they truly shine is because A, they're inexperienced versus champion, and B, most of the time when you play it, you're playing it into something you want to be playing. You don't just like pick the champion like I'm gonna pick Fiddlestick's first pick, and then someone's just gonna go Sona or Tarek and just destroy me, and I'll have nothing to do about it, So you kind of have to kind of lie in wait before you bust out a support champion like that.
All right. Okay. So let's go back to when you first joined Crs. So you left CLG obviously. There's a big story behind that. We won't go into that. And the first tournament with Crs, you placed 5th to 6th in IEM Kiev. So what were your first impressions of Team Crs? Did it feel like it was your team where CLG wasn't? Did you feel like you're much more cohesive with the members?
Yeah, I mean the switch from CLG to Crs was actually a really smooth transition. And yeah, everyone in Crs has always treated me really great, and we've always gotten along really well, and I feel like kind of Voyboy felt the same way. I don't know, I mean, I think we're just more laid back, and we let each other do what we need to do and give each other space, and we respect each other's opinions a little bit more maybe. I don't know why the environment is so different, but it really is on Crs, and it was a smooth transition, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Alright, that's great news. Okay, so with your time in Team Crs, what's an average day like? Do you work on a certain aspect? Like, for example, today you're going to work on, I'm not going to die to any ganks today. I mean, that's a simple example, but how does your average day look like?
I mean, my average day is probably well, we'll get into some scrims, and it's not like you try to focus on a certain area, but I mean, today, for instance, there's a lot of jump champions that can jump over walls or dash champions, you know, and I was warding not in the side little brush beside the bot lane or top lane, and they kept jumping into there. Over the wall, so it's just out of my ward range, and then sneaking in for the gank. So, I mean, a little lesson I learned today is that people are going to be looking for those ganks, and I should be probably warding in those spots instead, or at least standing in these spots so I can see when a jungler comes in, especially when we're 2v1ing, because it's a big, you know, it's just something to remember now, and that's something you'll learn every single day. I mean, that's just what scrimming does. I mean, the more practice you do, the more stuff you're going to pick up on, and the more knowledgeable about the game you're going to get. So, I mean, just today I took that away from the game, and I'm going to apply that to LCS.
Okay, no, that's great news. So, after you joined Crs, there were a few changes to the roster, obviously. So, you had Westprice join in, Crumbs leave, St. Vicious join in, and you guys did actually quite good after Westprice and Saint joined in. You actually won the MLG Summer Champions against Dignitas, but then there was an issue with collusion. But that was when Crs really started making an impact on the scene. Everyone started saying Crs is a big name. They can actually win these bigger tournaments. So, anything you realized that made your team do better?
No, I think it was just kind of getting people's synergy together and practicing a lot. I mean, I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. I mean, it's a team game, and the more time you spend with your team, the better you're going to be.
Okay. Right, so, and then chronologically following on, there was a Crs 1v1 tournament, and there was a short period of time where Rux, who won the 1v1 tournament, was rotated out, you were rotated out, and he was brought in, and he played a couple of tournaments. So, do you think Rux is a stronger player than you in some aspects, or weaker than some aspects?
Buddy?
I mean, yeah, he's like really mechanically good, but I mean, comparing us together is I don't see the comparison whatsoever. I mean, just like on paper, I have 3 years of tournament LAN experience versus him. I know how to communicate in a team. I know how to lead a team, and yeah, he's a really good mechanical player, and he's excelling, and he's working his way up. But he's still very young, and he's kind of new to the scene and competitive play. So I mean, he's more of I think a work in progress for the team, opposed to someone I can really rival. I mean, I don't feel like that. I don't feel like my position is in any way,
All right.
Okay. What's the word I'm looking for? Like in danger or anything like that? Because I feel like I'm putting in a lot of effort, and I feel like I've really owned the role of support, and I feel like I'm one of the best supports in North America right now. So there. I guess there you go.
Okay. So I mean, and then there was the period of time where Rux was on the team and you were out, and then you were brought back on the team. Can you explain in words how happy that makes someone like you?
I mean, I honestly wasn't my opinion didn't change over that course of time, to be perfectly honest. I really wasn't worried about it. I mean, he had won a tryout for the team, and he had played in the tournament that weekend. So he played with the TSM tournament, and he did well. So Season 3 was coming up, and we need 2 extra players. So, I mean, Steve saw an opportunity to try somebody out, to see if they're better, to see if they would fit with the team, to be a sub, and that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, I just stepped out for the tournament, and then I was right back in. So,
right.
I mean, I went to IPL, and I got a nice little break, and drank my face off in Vegas, and it was the best, I don't know, quote unquote, sit or bench, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it wasn't really, like a bench. It was more or less like a, you're just not playing this tournament,
Okay, so going off the bench thing, there's a running joke that goes around the community. You have so many CLG ex-members that people start calling you CLG.bench. How does the team take that? As a joke, or is that motivation? How does the team respond to something like that?
Well, I mean, we beat them 19-3 in LCS last week, so, I mean, I guess that's proof enough. Who's the bench team there? I mean,
yeah.
That's really all there's to say to them. I mean, you can say we're the shittier team or whatever you want to call us, but I mean, we're proving we're the top team right now.
With season 3 in full swing, Crs actually got off to the best start of the season. Very good, undefeated start. What's next? I mean, are you working on building on your current strengths, or are you going to start working on secret strategies up your sleeves? I mean, how are you planning to go through the season?
Yeah, I mean, we do have some stuff up our sleeves that we're gonna pull out, because these are best of ones after all, and best of ones are really sometimes come down to who can cheese the best or pull out some random strategy that you're like, oh my god, like what do you like COG like busted a strategy out where they dropped like 7 wards at level 1. They pinked stuff, and then Syndra pulled the golem over the wall, and they got 2 blues at level 1, right? And you're like, oh dang, that's a pretty cool little strategy. But like, there's only so much of that you can do, and I feel like us, we're really we're not so much worried about like, oh, are we going to have a strategy for next week, opposed to keeping our skill up, keeping our what we already know at a high level, and maintaining what we already have. Because I feel like as a team, I think we're the best team fighting team in North America right now. I think our laning phase and our kind of map awareness is our biggest thing that we need to work on. So I mean, other than that, I really don't see any really issues other than just keep on moving forward, keep doing what we're doing, and keeping our skills up to par.
Right. So there's one common element that separates the teams from, for example, the Challenger circuit to the top dogs, people like Crs, and that's communication. So obviously some teams can't communicate as well, but being a top team like Crs, how do you organize who calls the shots and who has the final say and what happens, or is it just more of a shouting person?
I mean, a lot of times, Saint will be calling a lot of the calls for the majority of the early game and stuff like that, because I mean, jungler has the most vision on what they're doing and what he wants to set up. I mean, if he wants something Jackie to do, he's going to be talking to Jackie. If he wants to set something up with Void, he's going to talk to Void. He's going to talk to us. He's going to talk to us. He's going to be making most of those calls, because that's the laning phase is just ganking and roaming a dragon or stuff like that. It's really easy moving and all that kind of junk. So I mean, predominantly early game is Saint. In team fights, I think I make majority of the calls on who to target, who to focus, who I've exhausted, who needs peeling if Cop's in trouble or something like that. Those are the kind of calls I make, and sometimes, I mean, and then for the most part, I mean, it opens up a little bit, and be like Saint can make a call, I make a call. Sometimes Jackie makes a good call, or Void makes a good call. Even Cop makes good calls too. I mean, it really comes down to seeing what's happening and situationally knowing, like just noticing, okay, so out of nowhere someone pops up on the mini-map top and you're like, holy shit, we can push mid right now, 4 versus 5, go, 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 go. And it's making these like quick thinking, like almost knee-jerk reaction decisions that you hope are correct, because I mean, if they're not correct, you're going to suffer. So I mean, it's really just as a team agreeing on something very quickly and then doing it. I mean, people make calls. Saint's usually the one to, as I say, go in, because he's usually initiator, so he's making most of those calls sometimes. But I mean, I think it kind of falls on the team, and then whatever else doesn't fall on the team or Saint, I kind of pick up the slack in that area in terms of call making.
Right. So you mentioned a while back that you think Crs is the best team fighting team in NA. So apart from Crs, okay, we'll eliminate Crs out of this question. Who do you think is the strongest team in the world?
Strongest team in the world right now? I wouldn't be able to say, because I mean, there's just like, if just looking at what's it called, Katowice. I mean, we came in there with a sub, and people can say, oh, M5 was bad right there, but we managed to beat M5 with a sub just the way we were playing, and then they went on to beat the Koreans in that tournament too. And besides Brazil, there hasn't been a lot of international action going on either. So I mean, up at that point, I would think that it's pretty even, honestly, right now. I think a lot of people took time off, and I think a lot of people took breaks, and other teams have started catching up, like ourselves. Crs is proving that we're a top team, and these other teams are like, oh shit, we need to start practicing again and doing more. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, there's not too much going around for the global scale of things, but I think things are starting to even out a little bit. I mean, NA is obviously a little bit weaker just naturally, because we were kind of playing the catch-up game since Season 2, but I think NA could have a lot stronger pull this season, and I mean, otherwise I'd probably say like Najin Sword or something like that. I mean, chat's going nuts right now saying Najin Sword, but they've always been a strong team and have continued to be a strong team, and Magnoon's a beast, so I'll probably say Najin Sword, but otherwise, yeah, the second place is like so close, I think.
All right. So for all the sports betting fans out there, make a prediction. What region do you think is going to be?
Actually, no,
perform the
no,
best
no.
over
Actually, no,
overall
not
season
Najin,
finals?
not Najin. I changed it. I totally forgot about World Elite. World Elite is just bomb right now. They're the best. I think
Okay.
they're really good. What I've seen from them and the way they've been performing, yeah, I totally forgot about World Elite. I spaced on that.
Okay. No worries. So, make a prediction. What region do you think is going to perform the best overall in Season 3 finals?
Probably Asia.
Okay.
I mean, that's. I mean, they have a really hard work ethic, and that's really what separates, I think, everyone else, is that they're willing to sacrifice, personal lives in terms of like not having like any contact with anyone outside of their team, kind of deal. Like that's like an insane commitment to make, and they're all willing to do that. So I mean, I think that's why they shine so brightly when they play, and the Asian teams are are becoming stars all the time, and have proven themselves to be top because they train so hard and they really just don't care about anything other than League of Legends when they play.
Okay. So, we're nearing the end of the interview here. So, and before we end, I actually have to put you under some pressure and ask you one of the toughest questions ever.
Okay.
Your
I'm ready.
Leaguepedia page says you're sometimes cited as the cutest League of Legends player.
Oh man.
Do you agree with this? And what would you say your most attractive feature is?
My most attractive feature, and do I agree with it? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't really have a lot of competition, to be honest, and I'm one of the few players who actually, takes care of my, like grooms myself and goes to the gym and stuff like that. So I'd say I'd pretty much agree with that.
All right.
And
That confidence is amazing.
Well, I mean, I don't.
All right,
I don't.
so-
Wanna, yeah. And as for greatest feature, I'm gonna say my personality.
Best answer. Okay, so it's the end of the interview. Thank you for taking the time out to talk with me. To wrap it up, is there any final words you'd like to say at all?
Yeah, I mean, thanks to Grubhub and TeamSpeak and Cooler Master for all their support, and Law Pro and Rainy Gaming, and especially all the fans who continue to support us and the people who are watching right now. Thank you very much. Thanks for everything.
All right, so thank you for doing the interview with me today, and that was Crs Elementz, everybody. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.